Welcome to our vibrant network of governance, risk, compliance, and cybersecurity leaders. We share cutting-edge insights, best practices, and innovative strategies to empower professionals in navigating the dynamic cyber threat landscape. Join Circolo de CISO to ignite resilience and data protection across industries.
In this episode, we are continuing our discussion on DORA with Kavitha Srinivasulu. In the previous episode, she gave us an overview in terms of what this regulatory framework is, why people should take into consideration the importance and the results it would give the organizations by adopting this framework. Kavitha, tell us, how do we start this journey? It's a running train. People probably have 27001 implemented. Maybe they have adopted some other framework. And now we are seeing a new regulation. I'm sure there are overlaps. So, as a person who's dealt with diverse clientele across the region, right, Europe and the Asia Pac, how would you advise somebody to embark on this journey? Kavitha?
Hi, everyone. Good to see you again. So, in this phase, we are going to look into implementing DORA and how to stay compliant with that. I know there are a lot of questions that is arising across the organization, across the geo. How many regulations should I be complying with? There are lots of regulations, standards, privacy acts, all these are coming in. So how do I manage them? Because it's becoming difficult day by day. The foundation for all the regulations and standards is ensuring maturity level and the risk and compliance. That's the
Absolutely.
basic for all. So I suggest that we first measure ourselves, like what is the current maturity level of our organization. We are working on different security controls, different security services. How matured are we? We will have to take a step back and do a RCSA, which is a risk and compliance self-assessment. It is like you have to accept it's like a doctor-patient's relationship. Be transparent, right? We always look for getting compliant, being compliant to the internal or external audits. We will have to see what is the maturity level and how strong are we across GRC or with digital identity, IAM and PAM structure we have within our organization, and infrastructure security, endpoint security, or the network security, that business continuity, data privacy as well. Are we strong in these areas? And once we measure the maturity levels, we will know what is the first step to take. And second, we will also have to keep in mind what are the different expectations from the regulators. Is our organization, is our team equipped with those skill sets? Cybersecurity is not a formula. Applied, there'll be zero incidents or zero crimes. There will be spaces for improvement. The threats are evolving by day, and we may never know where the predators are going to intrude our network. So we'll always have to take step of educating our cybersecurity team on technology and the culture that we are adapting. And another important factor is your enterprise data. The enterprise level data that we are managing specifically in the BFSI sector is humongous in nature. And if we ask ourselves how much data is visible, check the availability of the data, the visibility of the data, are they categorized? Do you have a structured data? There are recent reports that reveal organizations struggling with organizing or categorizing the type of data they are working on day in, day out. Right? There's structured, unstructured, metadata, different miss in managing the data, gives space for the intruders to target the data that we work on. So we will have to ensure that the data that we are managing within our organization is completely categorized, classified, and managed in a more effective manner. And another one which I've discussed in the last call is managing the third parties. Third parties is definitely not like just get a security performance report from them and we are done with it. As I said, getting much more ownership in managing the third parties that we work with in day in and day out. It's for improving the operational resilience. Our operations doesn't stop with only internal controls or the internal activities that we work with, but with the third parties as well. If we fail to look at the third parties, we are giving space for cyber crimes to increase, right? So we'll have to have a specific team who will manage third-party risk management, which is not happening so far, or even if it was happening, was not given that much of attention. So we'll have to have a concrete plan to manage our third parties, how to categorize them, critical, non-critical, and if there is any incident, what will be the impact to business. When talking about the impact, the investment comes into picture. We have to look into in doing a measurement. When I say measurement, measuring the risks, right? Categorized into high, medium, and low, and always ensure the risk assessment is effective and get the buy-in from the management. Is please quantify the risk. It's measurable that you need have to explain. The report showcases if there is going to be an impact on this environment, what will be the cost that we will have to pay to enable that security control or strengthen that security control. And if there is an incident, what will be the impact to the organization or the loss to the organization? So that differentiation, to avoid impact to the or the loss to the organization, investing in the cybersecurity control is much effective and it's not as expensive that we have seen. That gives confidence to the management to invest in the right places proactively, so that you can keep in mind to take it
Absolutely.
forward.
Well said, Kavitha. You started off very clearly saying you need to have a baseline using a self-assessment checklist. That gives you an idea where you stand in terms of service with the regulator. Then the other important point which you mentioned about is the risk assessment and the impact which would arise if a risk is not treated. Now, one of the things which I also see more often is that these risk assessments are performed in isolation. We are still discussing implementation strategies, and I want to talk about the importance of risk assessment and managing the third-party risks in the next episode. Right? Kavitha, thank you so much for setting the stage and making everybody understand where to start and the next steps. So stay tuned and we will come back and again continue our discussion in depth as to what we should be doing as part of the risk assessment and the implementation strategies if we are to approach or adopt the DORA regulation. Thank you so much, Kavitha.
Thank
See you in the
you.
next episode.
Sure. Bye.